Thanks for dropping in. In this video, I get way too excited about a cardboard box, and I examine my floppy. On the internet, there are several communities dedicated to preserving old software, so future generations are still able to use it for both useful and historical reasons, long after the operating systems are no longer in common use or the media format is no longer the standard. This has been highlighted recently with Sony's announcement that PlayStation physical media will stop in January 2028. Once the servers are turned off, how are these games going to be accessed in the future? Not to mention the argument that as software becomes digitally distributed, it seems you stop owning it and just have the right to use it for a time determined by some company. Here, however, we have a different issue. Time is running out for floppy disks from the DOS era. Floppy disks apparently have a life expectancy of around 30 years. For those of us old enough to remember using them, this may seem like an exaggeration, as I remember just looking at a floppy disk wrong could result in a corrupt file. However, with it now being around 30 years since floppies were phased out, some predictions suggest all remaining DOS floppies could become unreadable by the mid-2030s. Therefore, any software still only on a floppy disk, not copied to more modern resilient backup media, could be lost if not saved by then. This is due to a process called bit rot. Bit rot is when the magnetic surface of magnetic media slowly returns to its neutral state. So whereas ones and zeros are easily read when the media is freshly recorded, this degrades over time to the point that the data is lost. So where does this involve me? Well, I was wandering around a car boot sale a couple of weeks ago and came across a seller who was selling a whole load of different random items. But in particular, I saw this big box PC game, Aboard the Alphabet. I'd never heard of it, but he only wanted £1, and as I tend to pick up big box PC software, especially when it's only £1, I did. It appears to be an edutainment software for children from around 1995. So what was in it? We have a single floppy disk, which slightly strangely has set up instructions for both Windows 3.1 and 95, but using DOS commands via the run prompt. We've got the original unused registration card, an insert that talks about other available software, namely Wild West Maths and Be Safe with SuperTed Danger Busters. A general software catalogue sheet, the manual, which interestingly talks about registering Be Safe with SuperTed, not Aboard the Alphabet, to be entered into a prize draw. Typo maybe? The front of the box looks fine, if a little dinged from the 31-year age. And the back of the box, which appears to actually look like it's supposed to be from Wild West Maths. So maybe a mix-up or switch happened here. When I looked online, I couldn't find any mention of this game at all. Nowhere. No eBay sales, nothing. So I did whatever anyone wanting an absolute truth backed up by proven data and needing it to be 100% accurate does. I asked AI. Yes, a little sarcasm there. I have a boxed floppy disk version of Aboard the Alphabet by Gemini with manual and inserts. AI replied, "That is an incredible piece of computing history. Having a complete in-box software package including the original floppy disk, manual and inserts is a rare find for retro computing collectors. Because many early software titles from vintage brands like Gemini have not been fully preserved online, a physical copy like yours holds significant historical value." On further searches, it turns out this title was on some of the preservation group's missing list, meaning no physical copy was known to exist, and it hasn't been preserved. AI in fact even suggested this could be the last copy in existence. Given that, I got in touch with one of the preservation groups, and they did indeed want to preserve it. So let's hope this disc is still in readable condition, and that there aren't supposed to be more discs in there. So there we have it. Do you have any rare pieces of software? How do you think preservation of software can happen with only digital downloads and servers getting switched off and no physical media to go back to? Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below, and I'll see you all again soon.